Welcome back to Texas Boxing Scene. I am here joined with Travis Crawford of Corpus Christi, who's got some big news coming up March 8th. Champ, how's it going? And tell us what you got going on March 8th.
March 8th, I'll be making my 2025 comeback, and I'll be fighting on El Triguez Promotions.
And that's in Corpus. I'm sorry, that's in College Station,
Yes,
Texas
sir.
A&M.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Perfect. An opponent names yet? 126, 130, 135. What weight are you going to be at? And
Uh,
all that information.
no opponents yet. We are sticking at 135. I tried the 130, but my body just didn't react well to the weight cut.
I wanted to ask you about that. You weighed in at 128, 2 pounds under the limit. I was going to ask you, could you go down to 26? Is it 30? Is it 35? Or what weight will you be fighting at, in 2025 and beyond?
So for the rest of my career, where our plan is just to stay at 135 because
135.
I was able to make the weight. The weight cut was easy. The weight cut was really easy, but I lost a lot of muscle, and then during the fight, I was just depleted. Like I walked into that fight just like feeling like drained.
Now,
Even
when you
after,
fought, oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, it's okay.
No, go ahead. Continue what you were saying.
Oh, so even after weigh-ins, after eating, after drinking, I drank maybe like 3, 4 gallons of water the day before, and even more water before the fight. I just still felt dehydrated and drained and completely depleted of any muscle mass, movement, or anything.
So I want to, and prior to that, you fought Alex Ramos, and that was at 135.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you look really sharp in that fight. That was in Laredo, in his hometown, and that set up this fight. But walk me back to 2023. 2023, you fought 5 times. You were super active. Walk me through your surgeons in 2025. It started in your hometown in Corpus against Tyler Pacheco, and then you ran off 5 straight wins that year. Talk about your surgeons in 2025 and what that meant.
2025 or
I'm sorry,
2020.
23. I'm sorry, 2023. 2023, you fought 2023, you fought 5 times, starting with the Pacheco fight. You ran off 5 straight wins. Really, really impressive. You kind of put your name on the map there. What did 2023? I'm sorry, 2023 mean to you?
2023 was just like my best year. It showed that I truly do belong, and that I'm coming for everything at 135. And that, like, I want to show people that just because you start off bad like doesn't mean that you're always gonna do bad. And that's what I did. I came back and I put up 5 straight wins, and I got some pretty good stoppages during that time. And 2023, I dropped everybody who I fought. I didn't knock everyone out who I fought, but I dropped everyone who I fought.
Is that right? I think so, right? You did, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It shows the power is real. I wanted to ask you. So 2023 goes really, really well for you. 2024, you start off the year by fighting Alex Ramos in his hometown. I saw you about 2 weeks before that fight in Corpus Christi, and I said, "This is a real fight. Like you're going to be in for a tough fight." Walk us through that fight. And was I right? Was Alex Ramos a lot to handle?
Alex was a lot to handle with him coming forward. I had done a lot of research, and I've seen Alex in the amateurs plenty of times. I knew that he would gas out because even in his amateur fights, he would gas out. So our plan was stay composed, move around the ring, box, and that's what we did. We moved around the ring, we boxed, and like me, my coaching team had knew he gassed himself out. So the rest of the fight, I stayed moving around him. Every time he would try to plant his feet, I would move around him. I would just keep my jab out and let off combinations when I needed to, and then we that got us the win. It came closer than what we thought it was gonna be, but it was enough to get us the win.
Yeah, and one of the judges gave the fight to him 78-74, while the other two scored for you 78-74. So a lot of close rounds. I guess one of the judges swung him the other way. Now, I saw Alex has an older brother named Jorge,
Yes.
friend of the program. I saw him on Instagram or Facebook or something back in camp. I thought that's what you were going to tell me. Has there been any discussion there to fight Big Brother?
So I mean, as we talked about, I've given him already 2 chances to fight, and
Talk
both
about
times
that. Talk
he's pulled
about
out.
Jorge. You're talking about George Ramos.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that.
Um, I given Jorge already 2 chances to fight, and both times he's pulled out with how he says an injury, which is like one was a week before we fought, the other one was a month before we fought, and I feel like if it's a month before you fight, you still have time to train. You can work on things with your other hand, your more dominant hand, or with whichever side is like, I guess, not hurting. Because I've gone into fights when like hurt, broken hands, torn ligaments in my elbow, and I still came out with the win. And what's it called? So right when we're about to fight, I think the first time, I don't remember the date. I think it was supposed to be in Power Pound's Houston show. He pulled out, and then right before we were about to fight, and Red Owl, he pulled out again a month before, which kind of like led me like, dude, like, what's going on with you?
I know Jorge. He's a friend of mine. I know him to be a tough kid. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't want to say they were fake injuries. I don't want to say he pulled off because I know the kid. I like the kid, but that's I'll talk to him about it. I'll try to get his side of the story too. That's interesting to know, though. That's interesting to know. So you went up to the court, but you beat Alex. That got you the big opportunity on the Red Owl card. Was that when you were supposed to in talks to fight Alex? I mean, to fight George? Was it that Red Owl card, the one you fought in November?
Yes, sir. So that was the card where like everything was supposed to be set in stone. We were both gonna sign our contracts. Everything, the contracts were being made, and then from what I hear, they sent him the contract and he didn't sign it, and then he pulled out for an injury.
Interesting. Okay. All right. There was a fighter up in Dallas in my neck. It was Ray Jimenez, who was a touted guy at 130, and he was supposed to fight Jorge, and he pulled out of the fight, and then Jorge got this fight, and then this fight fell apart. That's interesting. Okay.
Yes,
Now walk me through that. But you get a big opportunity. It's the Red Owl series close to your home. What was it like when you got the call that you're going to be fighting on this card? It's on the zone. Walk me through your thoughts when you get the call for this fight.
So I get the call and they're like, the only thing is we need you at 130 because 135 is like stacked already. So my manager calls me. He's like, I'm getting on the zone, but I need you to be at 130, 135 stack. And I was like, okay, cool, I can do this. I waited at 133. I can make 130. So I mean, I'm excited. I'm like, wait, so who am I fighting? And he tells me Jorge. So we're training. I'm training for Jorge at this point, and well, Jorge pulls out, so we get another call. They're like, hey, there's this another guy, Josh Fat, and they're like, he's 12-1, but he's beatable. And so I looked him up, and I was like, oh yeah, like I can beat him. So we're training for Josh Fat, and I want to say like a week before the fight, I already knew like my body was hurting from the weight cut. I wasn't able to sleep at night, and I was hurting a lot from the weight cut. So we go to the event. I weigh in, and I felt depleted. I tried to eat afterwards, and even eating was hurting my stomach and everything. So I kind of like mentally I had myself kind of beat already, and then my trunks, my fight outfit, I had got them shipped to the hotel, and they got lost in the mail. So I was stressing about what am I gonna wear to fight in. And then the first round we came out, and I felt good. I felt normal. And once the second round came, once the first round ended, I went to my corner. I sat down, and I got up, and I was just like I was out of it. I had never felt like that in a fight before, where I was just kind of like
The
I
weight
couldn't
cut. The
put
weight
much
cut. You didn't have your legs sort, and I've been there. I know what that's like. You didn't have your legs. You're talking about, right? Like you is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir. Like I didn't have the strength to put out any punches. Like I wanted to.
Did you tell your trainer that? Were you
I told
honest in
the
between?
trainer that.
Okay, yeah, because now you got to change things up. Right? I've been there. I know what that's like. what's that conversation like? We say, Coach, I ain't got my legs.
So my coach asked me, he was like, "Do you even want to be here?" I was like, "I do, but I don't know what's going on." He's like, and my coach to me was like, "You need to wake up." He was like, "Four is gone, like 4 rounds is gone. You need to wake up." He's like,
Yeah.
"You need to wake up," and I was like, I'm trying." And then, I mean, my coach is there. He's trying to hype me up. My other coach is trying to hype me up. My cut man's trying to hype me up, but it's just like nothing is working. And I felt completely drained to the point where I was like, man, like I don't even want to be here anymore. And I've never felt like that in a fight. I felt like how Sonny Edwards was.
I was just gonna say that you got a Sonny Edwards moment. Can I tell you the truth? Yeah, I don't want to be here.
That's how I felt. But I mean, I didn't say it. It was the first time any of
Yeah.
my coaches were mic'd up. You could hear us in the corner, so I'm not gonna say that. But that's the feeling I felt, and I got to the point where I was like, man, like I've never felt this feeling before, like never.
So walk me through that. You're playing that game in your head at this point where part of you wants to quit and part of you wants to fight. You got the good, the angel and the devil. The angel's telling you to keep going. The devil's telling you to stop. What's that like for the first time in your career?
So I mean, it was. I knew like I knew I wasn't gonna stop. Like I'm not gonna tell my coach like no, like stop the fight, or I'm not gonna take an easy way out and take a knee. So I'm doing what I have to do, and there's parts where like I
You're
do
fighting
get like
competitive. You're not getting blown out. I mean, you're very much in the fight, but continue. Yeah.
yes sir. And there's parts where I'm moving around, I'm checking them around, I'm turning angles here and there, but it's just like little 30 seconds of flurries, 10 seconds of flurries. So I'm doing that, and then I try to catch my breath, and then there he goes. He's like, and then anytime I would try to like get my combinations going, or I would like hurt him, I would get held, and he'll put his weight on me, kind of like an older guy tactic, and that would just take my energy out.
So let me ask you, March 8th, you said is the fight, right? March 8th.
Yes, sir.
Is it gonna? When does camp start? You starting camp in San Antonio? You starting in camp Corpus Christi? Where does camp start?
So camp has already started.
Oh,
We're
okay.
working on everything, and even though it's just like even though it's like back to 135, I still want to make sure that I'm at my 100% like how I was when I fought Alex. So right now we're working on getting ready, so we don't gotta. We're getting ready. We're getting the weight cut down, so we don't gotta do last minute weight drops, and just working on getting building back my muscle that I lost while going down to 130.
What do you walk around at now? Like, what do you weigh right now?
Right now I weigh 152.
Okay. Yeah, so
Holiday.
130 is small for you. If you're walking around over 150, I mean, it can be done, but that's a lot. That's a lot of weight to lose. That is a lot of weight to lose.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Holiday good.
yeah. Is you eat good during the holidays?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then when did camp start? When did you guys start camp?
We started camp around January, maybe the first week after New Year's is when we started camp.
Okay. So you
So I
took
think
off. Yeah, you had the holidays because your fight in Houston was November, right? So you took off the holiday season, and now you're back at it.
yes, sir.
How's it going so far?
It's going pretty good. Everything's just coming back natural because during that time I still stayed in shape. I went hit the bags and ran and worked out. So just stayed in shape, and so now everything's just flowing smoothly again. And me and my coach, we're coming up with our game plan for this fight for whoever it is we fight.
And there's no opponent. Any names? Anyone been mentioned yet, or is this going to be more of a tune-up fight, or a get-back fight, or what's the plan? What's the plan for March 8th?
We offered the fight to Jorge at
Okay.
135, but he said the weight was too heavy. And then right now we're kind of looking at other opponents, and if it comes down to it, like last minute opponents, we'll take a tune up fight or a comeback fight.
All right. Then moving forward for the rest of the year, what's your plan for 2025? How many times do you want to fight in 2025? And what's your plan? Where do you want to get to by the end of where do you want to be in your career by the end of 2025?
So 2024 was a slow year for me. I only fought twice, um, due to like my head. And so 2025, I'm I'm promising at least 5 to 6 fights again this year.
Okay. You'll be back at so every other month for the most part.
Yes, sir.
Is a fight with? I mean, look, if Jorge can't fight at 135, that's he can't. No one wants him to fight at a weight he can't fight at. I want to ask you about that in a minute. I want to get your opinion on something. But if it can't be Jorge, is there anyone else in Texas that you have your eye? I want to fight that guy at 130.
130, not so much. I don't think I'll ever probably
I
go
mean,
back.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm losing. 135. I'm sorry. 135.
135. I'll give his brother a rematch.
Do
We'll
you want
give,
a rematch with Ortiz or with Josephat, or is that off? Is that out because of the weight?
no, I want a rematch with Josh Fat because I feel like that night he thinks he got the best of me, and I want to show him that that wasn't me, and everyone knows that wasn't me.
If you were to fight him again, he weighed in at 128, comfortably under 128 and a half, I think, comfortably under the 130 weight limit. What weight would the rematch be at? Would it be at 135? Would you look to cut a catch weight in the middle, or what weight would you want to fight him at?
Preferably, I would want 135, but if we had to come down to it, and he wanted a catch weight, I would meet him at about 133, 132.
Has there been any discussions? Is that something they're open to, or what's been the cause of action since November? And what were your
We
thoughts? Go
had
ahead. Yeah, I want to follow up on that, but go ahead.
we haven't discussed anything yet. I have told Louis and my coach about it, and they're on board with it. And then I've even thrown out the idea of giving Alex a rematch at 135, and that's also an opening opportunity. So this year we're planning on staying busy. We're not gonna take no tune-up fights. We're not gonna take no easy fights. We're gonna cement. We're gonna cement in and show We're gonna show out this year.
I wanted to ask you about that. When you get through the Joseph Ortiz fight, you make it through, you fight competitively, it goes to the scorecards. What were your thoughts at the end of the, I guess it was 6 round fight? What was your thought? What was what were you thinking at the end of that fight? Did you think you had done enough? Did you think you had lost? What were you thinking?
I knew I had lost. I knew I didn't do enough, and I knew he had more explosive moments than me. Cause I mean, you get to a certain level of I guess when you're rising up to where there is no more A sides or B sides really. So I knew I was walking into a 50-50 fight,
Yeah, no
and
more easy fights. Yeah.
yes sir. And so I knew I was like I lost. I was like, but by some miracle, maybe I win. But I knew I lost, and
Just to be fair to you, the scorecard's 58-55 times 2 and 57-56. So the fight was close and it was competitive. You weren't being, you weren't being blown out. You weren't washed in the fight. You were very competitive. You were winning rounds in the fight.
yes sir. I knew I didn't do enough. So I mean, it did weigh heavy on my heart and everything. And then I went out. I saw my girlfriend. I saw my family, and I was just kind of like, I didn't do enough. I couldn't get going. I couldn't get out of second gear. So I'm there. I take some pictures. I sign some autographs, and I get to the back, and we're alone, and I just let out a bunch of tears because I hadn't felt that feeling in a long time, and
So
I
yeah.
I really do know that feel like it was me who beat me, and like I beat myself that day, and like usually after I win, we've talked about this. I get hundreds messages, calls. That day, all I had was maybe 16 calls, maybe from my family, and maybe like 5, 6 from my family, and then the rest are just spam calls. Like,
Sergio Martinez talked about that. Sergio Martinez said, when he won, he gets hundreds, thousands of messages. He goes back to his phone. He's got thousands of messages. When he lost, he got 3 calls. 2 was from his mom, and 1 was the wrong number. Right. So, I mean, that is real. Like, it's real. I mean, what explain that experience, right? Like you used to everyone, chanting your name, post fight parties. You're the superstar. When you lose, when you come up on the short end of that, what does that feel like?
it sucks. It really does suck, especially when you're the favorite. Like the odds are in your favor. You're in your home like state because he came in from Pennsylvania. You're in your home state. Like everyone's chanting your name, and then like you see all these messages. Oh, good luck. You got this. You got this. Like good luck, homie. Good luck, dog. And then those same people who texted you and messaged you and called you were nowhere to be found after that fight. And it was a little salt in the wound. And then 2 days before I fought, I had just turned 22, so I had plans of like, oh yeah, like we're gonna have fun, we're gonna go out after I win. So we didn't do any of that. We just went to Applebee's and then went back to the hotel. I wasn't in the mood.
Not a feeling you want again, I'm sure. Now you're back out at March 8th. You said you want to be back 5-6 times this year. Looking forward to seeing you. I'm gonna try to go to that fight. You said is the El Tigre Promotions card in College Station on March 8th. Any final words? What are your thoughts? What are your goals? What are your ultimate goals for? I want to ask you before we get into that. Canelo Crawford. Is it actually going to happen? And if so, who would you pick in that fight?
I gotta go Uncle Bud.
Uncle Bud? All right, I'm taking the guy that's 20 pounds bigger, and everyone's taking Crawford. But all right, why Crawford?
Crawford's proven me wrong before already. I remember at the last Ernest show when I fought Michael Haynes, me and you had talked about Crawford and Spence.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Spence has got it. Like Spence is him. And then Crawford breaks off Spence.
Breaks
No
off
offense,
him,
Spence.
yeah.
If you watch this, no offense, Spence. But I've started watching Crawford and I realized he's a different fighter every single fight. So who knows how he's gonna come out for Canelo? Like it's not predictable. And then Canelo's gonna work on just trying to walk down Crawford, but Crawford's not gonna stay still enough or be scared enough to sit back and let Canelo walk him down.
I saw Crawford in his last fight at 154.
Yes.
And to me, he's fighting out of his weight class at 154. He didn't look like a junior middleweight to me. Yeah, he looked like a guy. The Madrimov fight I'm talking about. He looks like a guy, a welterweight, fighting as a junior middleweight. Now add 2 more weight classes to that. I'm a firm believer that there are weight classes for a reason. Canelo is still a great fighter. If you could shrink Canelo down to a 147 pounder, maybe it's a different fight. But fighting at Canelo's weight class at 168, I just don't think Crawford's big enough. Like, this weight class is for a reason.
Yeah, you're right. Like Crawford might not be big enough, and then it's good. I feel like I do got a lot of faith in Crawford, but I feel like if he does lose, he'll throw that out there like as I guess as an excuse or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a fight that the people want to see, and if Canelo really wants to give a fight to the, if Canelo really wants to give a fight that the people want to see, then he should fight David Benavidez.
He's not going to fight. We know damn well he's not fighting. He's not fighting David Benavidez, and he's not fighting David Morrell. We already know that. So I mean, we can wish upon a star, but that ain't going to happen. The other one, Bivol and Beterbiev 2. Who do you got? Why?
I got Bivol.
I thought Bivol won the first one. I picked Beterbiev to win. I was kind of in the minority on that, but I picked Beterbiev to win. I thought Bivol won the fight. I think Bivol will win the rematch. So break it down for us.
So I saw this thing. I don't know how true it is. It said right before the fight, Bivol went through all this and it messed up his headspace. Like his wife had just divorced him, and there's some other stuff, but I forgot about it. But that really does mess with fighters' heads, like what goes on outside their lives. Like,
sure.
Like I mean, I tell my girlfriend all the time, like you're not in a normal relationship. Like I have certain things I have to be in bed by certain times. I have to do certain things, and that's our life.
Yeah.
She understands, so we don't stress each other out, and that's really like I think that's one of the biggest things for fighters is their relationships outside their boxing life. So I think what it was is Bivol had too many distractions. So now that he has no distractions really going forward, I think he's gonna be locked in. He's gonna want to get his get back.
I thought he, like, all that being said, it was a very close fight, very competitive fight. I thought he still won the first fight. What did you think? What did you think of the decision? I mean, I don't think it was a bogus, egregious decision, but I had Bivol winning. How did you have it?
I had Bivol winning. I didn't have it like a unanimous decision, but I had a close fight.
Yeah, it was super, super close, right? So it wasn't like he was totally out of it. Yeah, he was very much in the fight.
Yes, sir.
All right. Final question. What are your goals for 2025? Where do you want to end the year at in your career?
So my goal for 2025 is I want to be 16-3. That's gonna be my record. That's 6 fights.
10,
And I wanna I wanna win all my fights by knockout. I'm gonna start letting my hands go again this coming year.
can't wait to see it. Looking forward to it. March 8th, you're back at it. Looking forward. I'm gonna try to be there for you on March 8th. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
Travis. Any advertisements, any commercials you got to do? Any shout outs you got to give?
Shout out to Myers. Shout out to my newest sponsor, 1 Hour Air Condition, which is available all around the United States. Um, Shout out to Chacho's Tacos, who keeps me fed, and with the best tacos in Corpus Christi. And that's it.
All right, y'all. It's January 14th, 2025, from Texas to the world. Thank you. God bless.